I got licensed to fly a drone commercially in less than 2 weeks, and in this video, I'm going to show you how you can do it too. If you haven't seen me before, my name is Matthew Alford and I'm a videographer located in Mississippi. And this channel is dedicated to me growing my business, but also making other video projects. So if you like what you see, please feel free to hit that subscribe button and like this video. If you're thinking about flying drones commercially, or you just want to level up your drone portfolio, keep watching. This was an interesting journey and I'll break down everything I did to get it done fast, but also effectively. The reason I decided to pursue getting my license to fly my drone commercially is layered. Running my newly created video business had me realize that there were certain untapped markets. I can cover pretty much any angle, but I only lacked one, the aerial view. I started to think of the business I could simply get just by getting my drone license. Think about it. Wedding films, real estate, inspection work, among others, all use drones to get certain aerial shots. I knew then that I wanted to pursue taking this exam. I, of course, racked my brain and tried to figure out how I would study for, sign up, or, even take the exam in the first place. After much deliberation, and of course, YouTube searching, I finally made my move. Here's how I broke it down, step by step. 1. The first thing you want to do is figure out how you're going to study. Personally, I knew that in order for me to study well, I needed to have some sort of stake in the game. For me, this looked like actually buying a course. Yes, buying a course and going through their modules. You don't have to do this because you can go through many free materials on YouTube, the FAA website. There's plenty of them, but I wanted to go through a paid version because I thought that was going to help me the most. The course I decided to pursue is through a company called Drone Launch Academy. You've probably seen them before on YouTube, and I enjoyed their coursework thoroughly. They had me well prepared for the test and gave me confidence that I was going to make at least the passing grade of a 70%. And get this, they even have a guarantee that if you make at least 80% on their practice exam and complete all of the modules, then you'll get your money back and they'll reimburse you your testing fees. That was a big deciding factor for me for buying their course. I will have a link to Drone Launch Academy's website down in the video description. Here is where the rubber met the road. After each workday, during my first week of study, I would spend several hours reading the course materials and watching all the videos that they provide. And there's a lot. I made sure to cover topics like airspace classifications, drone regulations, and even emergency procedures, all the important ones. These are all crucial for the FAA Part 107 exam. At this point in the journey, I went ahead and scheduled my exam and paid the test fee. I highly recommend scheduling your exam way ahead of time so you have more motivation during your studies. The first thing you have to do to get this ball rolling is to get an FTN or an FAA tracking number. You will learn just how many abbreviations the FAA loves here in a second. This is done on the Integrated Airman Certifications and Rating Application, or IACRA, website. You're going to need this number to register for your exam. Head on over to the IACRA website, click Register, select Applicant, and agree to the terms of service. Next, you will want to fill out your personal and contact information and go through some security settings such as questions, making your username, and making your password. Then, all you gotta do is click register. Your FTM will come to your email that you provide, and you will use this to schedule your exam. Once you have your FTN, you will log back into the IACRA website and start your application. Make sure you denote that you are applying for remote pilot under the certification portion. Once you get logged in, then you can navigate to the test scheduling section and find a testing center that is closest to you. Disclaimer for you though, there is a fee of $175 to take the exam, and be sure that you meet all the eligibility requirements to take the exam in the first place. I know this is a lot of info, so I've included the necessary links in the description of this video. As you get ready for your exam, it's time to review. I spent the last few days before my test taking practice exams in the Drone Launch Academy portal. The cool thing about their course is the practice exams that they offer for all of the topics, and there's a lot. If you have a weak area, you can hone in your knowledge by taking these specific practice exams. Another disclaimer though, I don't recommend just using the paid course for your review. There are other few resources that I use to help me review and better prepare. I also used a smartphone app called Part 107 Exam that was super clutch for me. Not only do they provide plenty of practice exams, they also quiz you on the questions that exam takers have the hardest time with. I took several other practice exams and felt really good about the exam. Lastly, I went to YouTube for the final part of my preparation. I watched a study guide video made by Tony and Chelsea Northrup. and that was a good way for me to do a light review of what I've studied. Tony goes through example test questions and even tells you the answers, so that was so helpful for me. Once you have reviewed and studied your hardest, it's now time for test day. For whatever time you have scheduled, be sure to arrive at least 15 minutes early. I got to my testing center 30 minutes early just so I can do a final review with the Part 107 app I mentioned earlier. Once I felt a little more at ease, I went into the testing center and checked in. Now, there are some items that you will want to bring with you. First, some sort of identification that has your picture and a signature on it is required. I recommend either your driver's license or a passport if you have one. The next two items are not required, but they are necessary in my opinion. First is a calculator. Your calculator needs to have basic functions and doesn't need to have any storage capabilities. So just go to your grandma's house, find the little calculator that she uses and take that one, and it should be fine. If you think you won't need a calculator, bring it anyway. You will have to do some calculations surrounding load factor, so it's better to be prepared to make those calculations. Lastly, you will need to bring a magnifying glass. I know this looks a little old school, but trust me, there are some questions about sectional charts in the materials that they give you, and you may need a little assistance, even if you have good vision. I didn't bring one, but the testing center provided me one, but don't bank on them doing so. Be sure to be relaxed when you go in to take the exam. You have prepared hard, so be confident. Also, be sure to go back to the questions you weren't sure about. Don't waste your time, because you have 2 hours. Don't waste it all on a single question, just circle back. I got my results back and it was an 87, and I was stoked that the exam process was over and I could finally get to flying my drone commercially. But hold your horses. Don't think you can fly right after you pass. Yes, you got the required score, but you aren't certified yet. That's the key word. When you pass the exam, you will go back to the IARCA website and apply for your certification. You should have gotten some papers after the exam, so be sure to keep those close. Just go and create a new application with the designation of remote pilot. Then you'll want to enter your knowledge test ID, which is a long string of numbers on the result papers. Once you fill out the rest of the personal information that will go on your license, then you await a TSA background check. From my research, I've seen that in around 48 hours, as long as you don't have too much trouble with the law, you will get your temporary certificate. Congratulations, you are now legally allowed to fly your drone commercially. This new certificate is good for 120 days until your card comes in the mail. Be sure to print that certificate out and have it on you when you fly. Your official license won't come in immediately, so be patient. It should arrive within a few months, depending on how backed up the FAA is with processing all of the requests that are coming in. For me personally, I received my physical license in just over a month. The key thing to remember is not to let the process intimidate you. It's all about staying focused and dedicated while you're studying. Trust me, if I can do it, you can certainly do it too. If you are on your way to getting your drone license or even thinking about getting it, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear more about your journey. Don't forget to subscribe for more video content, and I'll see you in the next one.